Well, the rain blew over, and nothing like that has stopped the GNCBL in the playoffs before. With the rain delay set to end soon, this losers finals in the GNCBL playoff bracket is set to begin. This is the entire losers bracket for reasons we will get into in a second. There was supposed to be another game, but that will no longer occur. The Norsemen lost in a valiant comeback by the Lightning. They were up 2-0 in the top of the seventh. 3 outs away from victory, ended up losing that one 5-2. They fall to the losers bracket where they face off against the only team in the GNCBL with a better regular season record than they had, the Nor'easters. But the Norsemen get to keep home field advantage. They flipped a coin, and it came up Matt Rogers. So Lucas Francis and company will get that valuable home field edge. Lucas Francis, as I mentioned, he closed out the last game, or attempted to, and he is now starting in the second one with the defense around him of Kevin Connolly at catcher, Chris Cimino at first now, Jack Cody, at second base, Riley Hassan at short, Kyle Doohan at third, Ben Seguin in left, Anthony Poole in center, David Jurowitz in right. That's the normal outfield battery. And Lucas Francis on the mound, senior at USM out of Lisbon High School. The one-time Mr. Maine baseball this regular season. He threw 41.2 innings pitched, which is over double what second place Regan Thomas on this Norseman squad had. His 28 strikeouts were tied for fourth in the GNCBL, and a 3.84 ERA was up there as well. He'll be facing a Nor'easter lineup of Jack LeBlanc, Brady Graffam, Dawson Gunlaw, Andrew Merrill, Michael Weir, and Luke Chessie, Ryan Robertson, Dylan Furman, Chris Balzano, and Gus Lappin. I'm Charlie Fellows, as always, to take you through this final game before the championship. It looked dicey as to whether we'd even get it in at all, but the rain has tapered off. It's still coming down right now, but not nearly as hard as it was, and Francis fires in ball one to LeBlanc. We are underway. LeBlanc is senior at USM, same year as Francis. Takes ball two out of Bridgeton Academy in Lewiston. Transferred to USM from UMaine, where he saw no action. This season he hit .333, batted in 9 runs. And that's a strike, 2-1. So far in the postseason, he's 2 for 3 with a walk. Had that line against the Lightning in a back-breaking loss at Sanford on Thursday. Big cut, 2-2. The Norsemen came into this bracket with the number 1 seed, 13-10. They drew the Lightning after they won their play-in game, and then promptly took the win over the Nor'easters, who had the bases loaded and 1 out in the final frame. Did score 1 run, but did not score 2. Ultimately fell 4-3. And now they are here. A win puts them into a rematch with those Lightning in the championship game on Tuesday. A loss sends them home at third place. That sky down the left field line, foul out of play. Once again, I am thrilled to be able to live stream these games. Finally got the technology working, and just in time. Francis leaves that one outside. Leadoff walk to LeBlanc, second drawn by him this postseason.
Up next, Brady Graffam.
So Brady Graffam will bat now, sophomore at USM. Lots of USM representation in this one. Out of Thornton Academy, hitting .246 with 9 runs batted in and 4 doubles on the season. Throw down to first is safe for LeBlanc. Graffam against the Lightning went 1 for 2 with a walk, a double, and a run. Again, the throw into first. May have been a bit of a technological error in the first game, and they will give LeBlanc second. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Throw went over to first, but They called a balk, perhaps? I think they might have. That's the only explanation I can think of. So LeBlanc in scoring position now. And that is in for a strike. Two and one. Or 0-2, rather. So I was saying there's a bit of a glitch that may have resulted in some of the game being lost. That's a comebacker past the glove of Francis. They're going to try and get the force out at third, and looked like he slid in there, but the umpire calls him out. Fielder's choice gets Brady Graffam aboard with one away.
At bat, Dawson Gunlaw.
Dawson Gunlaw had a rough go of things against the Lightning. He went 0 for 4, did reach on a fielder's choice. One away with a man on first. Francis starts him off inside. Gunlaw this season hit .333 with 7 runs batted in. Started off the year looking like he might challenge with Landon Schwartzman of the Windjammers for the batting title. Batted close to 500 for the first third of the season, but he's cooled off since then. Connolly makes the stop and thinks about throwing down to Graffam. Sun is nearly coming out. Lots of blue sky now. This storm appears to have blown over. Knock on wood. Up the middle to second. Flips on for 1. On to first. Chimino has it in time for the double play. The Norsemen get the Nor'easters to go 1, 2, 3. And we'll see the Norsemen bats when we come back. Bottom of the first, the Nor'easters in the field. Colin McDonald gets the start today. He's been one of the top pitchers in this rotation. He's got a defense around him. A little bit of an unorthodox infield look for the Nor'easters. Dylan Furman at first, Luke Chessie at second, Jack LeBlanc at short, and Gus Lappin at third. In the outfield, Brady Graffam, Michael Weirn, and Dawson Gunlaw left to right. And Andrew Merrill doing the catching for McDonald. Sophomore at USM, another USM student out of Gorham High School. This season, he was one of the top pitchers, not only on the league-leading Nor'easters, but in the entire league. In 26 and a third innings, he had a 2.13 ERA, which is 4th in the GNCBL. Second in WHIP with 1.03, and second in strikeouts with 41. Second only to the dominant Owen Sullivan. Can't help but feel like we have to pour one out for the Windjammers, who, despite boasting the league's unarguable top hitter in Landon Schwartzman and arguable top pitcher in Owen Sullivan, went one and done in these playoffs, finished 5th out of 5 in the GNCBL, and lost to the Lightning in the wild card play-in game, a Lightning team that looks poised now with an inside track to take home the whole tournament. A tough draw for them. Excuse me. McDonald will face off against a lineup of Kyle Dew and Anthony Poole, Riley Hassan, Chris Chimino, Nate Rogers, Kevin Connolly, David Jurowitz, Ben Seguin, and Jack Cody. The exact same 9 in order for the Norsemen as it was in the first game, a game that they led 2-0 for the majority. A pair of Ian Libby wild pitches drove in a couple of runs, and that was the score until Alex Smith, who was in another gear for the entire game, finally let the game slip away. That's up the middle to short. LeBlond over to Furman for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. Doohan is retired. He's had a rough day. Went 0 for 4 in the first half of this doubleheader after going 2 for 3 against the Patriots on Thursday. Anthony Poole went 2 for 4 with a pair of singles and a pair of flyouts, including a single in the final frame for those Norsemen. Ball 1 delivered by McDonald. Junior at USM. You probably could have guessed that, though. 2.98 average with 8 runs batted in this season, and that clipped him. Hit by a pitch gets Anthony Poole aboard. So there will be no perfect game bids on either side this time.
Up next, Riley Hassan.
Riley Hassan had a good day. He was 2 for 4, reached on a fielder's choice, had a single, a double, and a ground out. Against the Patriots, he went 0 for 2 with a walk, but has found his swing today. McDonald throws down to first. The rain seems to have tapered off now. The sea of umbrellas has receded in the crowd below me. High for a ball. To mention the Patriots, the team that the Nor'easters or the Norsemen beat, as that's out into left center field, ranging and making the grab is Brady Graffam for out number 2. The Norsemen and Patriots played in Sanford on Thursday for the right to face the Lightning in the first game today. The Norsemen, of course, took that game. But the Patriots fell to the losers bracket where they would have played against the Nor'easters in this game. But they did not. They were not able to field a team. Just 8 of their 20 players remained that had not gone off to school, and that is not enough to field a baseball team. So they had to forfeit for the 3rd time this season. And the Nor'easters got a free float to winners or losers finals, rather, where they play the Norsemen now. The winner of this game will advance to the championship to play the Lightning, and they would have to win 2 to get the championship. Fielded by the shortstop over to first in time for another unorthodox 1-2-3 inning. No score after 1. To the second inning we go. That was not a 1-2-3 inning. I don't know why I said that. There was a hit by pitch. These teams have combined for 3 base runners, but neither side has allowed a hit. Andrew Merrill due up against Lucas Francis to start the top of the second. And if anybody lost some sleep after the back-breaking loss to the Lightning on Thursday night, it was this guy. He had a good game with a single and an intentional walk, but got his chance to walk the thing off in the bottom of the 7th with his team down by just 1 run as he lines that foul on the left field line. And the base is loaded, but he flied out harmlessly to center field to end the game. Don't mind the fly that just crawled across the screen there. There's not much I can do about that. 1-1. Big cut. Merrill's an East Connecticut State sophomore, native of Oxford, Maine. Hit .351 this year with 6 runs batted in the regular season. Francis is 1-2, spoiled. And again, a decent turnout today. These playoffs command viewers both at the stadium and through the stream. To anyone who is watching right now, thank you for tuning in. Merrill has got quite the at-bat going. 1-2 it has been for the last 4 pitches. Excuse me. He has fought off of a lot of them. 1-2 from Francis yet again. Into right. Jerwitz into foul territory. Makes the grab on the run. To bring up Michael Weirn, a junior at St. Joseph's out of Ellington, Connecticut. And East Catholic High School this season, he hit .295 with 3 runs batted in. Against the Lightning on Thursday, he was 2 for 3 with a double and a run. So a productive day. High and tight. From Francis, the Norseman workhorse. Line is short. Fielded by Hassan. Over to Chimino at number 2. For Luke Chessie.
Up next, Luke Chessie.
A senior at Bowdoin out of Thornton Academy in Saco. With a 0-0 scoreless tie here in the top of the second. He swings for the downs on pitch 1. Comes up empty. This season, Chessie at .270 drove in 14 runs, which is most on the team. Spoils that. Quick 0-2. So far this postseason, though, he's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. .02 from Francis. He struck him out. 1-2-3 inning once again. Francis has seen the minimum and not allowed a hit through 2. The Norsemen to bat coming right up. To the bottom of the second we go. Colin McDonald will take the mound against Nate Rogers, senior at St. Michael's out of Portland. The first game today, Rogers was 0 for 3 with a fly out, a ground out, and a line out. A pop out short of the cycle of outs. That's high and tight. Some mocking, and no, that's called a strike. That's what the griping was about. I thought they were just yelling for the fun of it. 1-2 on Rogers. Takes inside. McDonald just alone, hit by a pitch. Surrendered so far. He gets Rogers to chase. Catcher Merrill throws down to complete the K. First for him.
Up next,
Kevin Connolly, sophomore in the transfer portal. Hit .255 with 6 runs batted in the regular season. Had 1 hit earlier today. That ball goes to the backstop for ball 1. Just realized that this Norseman score has had a 2 next to it for the entire time, but it's not. It's 0-0. I must have gotten lost in the shuffle while the scoreboard was getting updated. That is my bad. 2-0. Left outside. Not sure what the Norseman players are yelling about. Some harmless fun, perhaps. That's high for a poor pitch walk.
up next, David Jerwitz.
David Jerwitz now, the right fielder, every day for the Norsemen, sophomore at St. Joseph's out of Sudbury, Massachusetts, to face McDonald with 1 out and 1 on. Takes strike 1. In the early going of this one, neither team has much in the momentum department. Typically how it goes. 2 very talented pitchers going at it in this one. Fouled off the left. Francis and McDonald, 2 of the league's finest. Colin McDonald, for all the accolades he has, unfortunately is not the best pitcher in the GNCBL with the last name McDonald. Quinn McDonald on the Lightning edges him out in nearly every statistical category. We did not get to see him in the first half of the doubleheader. Once again, that's spoiled. Loser of this game is out at 3rd place. Both these teams have had wonderful seasons and do not want to see them end here today. Norsemen have been the hottest team in the GNCBL for most of the second half. That goes off the end of the bat, and that's into right field for a base hit. A wonderful piece of hitting by Jerwitz. He went nearly into the dirt to dig that out and turns it into a single. Connolly to second. It's the Norsemen who have the first quasi rally brewing here in the second. Ben Seguin will bat now. That's the first hit given up by McDonald. Seguin had a great day, or a great game rather, the first half of today. Drew 2 walks and hit a double. Against the Patriots, he was also excellent. 1 for 2 with a walk, a double, and a run. One-0 coming. We're down right field line, but hooking foul. Still some standing water over there by the Norseman dugout in foul territory, but for the most part, the field appears to have dried off. 1-1, clips the corner of the strike zone. Seguin, a 5'7" utility man out in left today. Splits time between left and first. Out of Scarborough High School, my alma mater. 1-2. Goes around. And down on strikes for out number 2. A big K for McDonald. His second of the inning.
At bat, Jack Cody.
And of the game, Jack Cody, the 9-man, was 0 for 2 with a walk and 2 Ks in game 1. And he fouls McDonald's first offering off. Cody, a sophomore at Husson from Saco. Went to Thornton Academy. That ball about a foot before the home plate, but throws down to second. And David Jurowitz livid at himself for running right into that. The catcher Merrill had to make a nice play there with that ball skipped about a foot short of home plate. Kevin Connolly was able to swipe third, but Jurowitz was a step behind him, and he was thrown out for the third out. Bottom of the second, 0-0. Correction, top of the third coming up, of course. Top of the third coming up, as I said. The Nor'easters are the top seed, but are the away team, which has consistently been messing with me this game. Ryan Robertson will bat alongside Dylan Furman and Chris Balzano to follow. Batters 7, 8, and 9 in this 10-man lineup from Coach Zalewski. Ryan Robertson swings at Francis's first offering. Sophomore at Immaculata out of Bowdoin and Mount Ararat High School. On the ground, fielded by Francis. He'll throw over for out number 1. Chimino with a nice stretch to complete that connection.
Up next, Dylan Furman.
Dylan Furman, one of a plethora of catching options for the Nor'easters. Andrew Merrill, Dylan Furman, and Ryan Robertson, all with experience at the position. But Merrill gets the nod today. Furman, a sophomore at USM from Stratham, New Hampshire. Played a long drive to get here today. Against the Lightning on Thursday, he went 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI. In right field, Jurowitz makes the grab for out number 2.
Up next, Chris Balzano.
Chris Balzano, junior out of Roger Williams now, the man at the plate. Francis working on a quick third inning. The first two men he saw reached base. Jack LeBlanc on a walk, Brady Graffam on a fielder's choice. None have made it since. That's right down the middle for a strike. And as such, no activity in either bullpen. That's left high for Balzano. This season he hit .224 with 9 runs batted in. Does have a home run, one of only a couple players on this squad that can say that. And in fact, he is the only one who can say that. Nor'easters had just one on the year, which is the lowest of any squad. And yet they were the top team in the league. Two and two. Count moves to full. This game only got started about a half hour late. To those who may have been waiting, I did have to adjust the start time from 3 to 4 because we did not know how long the storm was going to go. That's hit well out to left, but Rogers has it, and that will retire the side. The Norsemen, or Nor'easters rather, 1-2-3 once more. Still no score. Halfway through 3. Bottom of the third, Norsemen with Jack Cody, Kyle Doohan, and Anthony Poole due up. Jack Cody was at the plate at the end of the previous inning when David Jurowitz was thrown out on an attempted double steal. So he will get a second chance to make an impact with his bat. Colin McDonald through 2 has allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and a hit by pitch, struck out 2. Cody spoils that. Goes off the plexiglass window of the shells of what were once press box or luxury boxes here. From an age decades ago when this was a minor league park, if you can believe it. Still does its job well, though. 1-1. Inside, Cody has to duck out of the way. Kyle Doohan on deck. Look at a snap. A skid. After a great showing against the Patriots, he is in the midst of an 0 for 5. 2-2 to Cody. Spoils it. Lots of foul balls by the Norsemen, making McDonald drive his pitch count up a bit higher than he'd like, but Certainly not as high as it could be if he was giving up consistent base runners. Has allowed 1 in each inning so far. And again, these Nor'easters with a plethora of pitching talent available should they need it. Josh Murphy, Aaron Kiss, Dylan Miner, and Ryan Penny all in the building. As that's just foul off the little tool shed. To keep the ball at 2, or the count rather, at 2-2. Colin McDonald showing no signs of fatigue or a need to be pulled yet, but you think back to what happened on the game on Thursday. Dylan Miner was clearly starting to get gassed at the end of the 6th, or at the end of the 5th, his last good inning. Coach Selefsky made the decision to keep him out there, and the Lightning tagged him for 4 runs. And what ended up being the difference in the game. Two and two. Right down the middle. Cody looks at strike 3. That is McDonald's 3rd K in his first time through the order. And Kyle Dewin now with a ground out. In the first game, he had a pair of flyouts and a pair of ground outs. Against the Patriots, he was 2 for 3 with a 2-run double. Looking to find some of that magic here. Taken outside by Kyle. He hit .438 this season, which was 3rd in the league, with a pair of home runs and 7 RBIs, including a walk-off home run in this very park. And that's hit well, but high and catchable by center fielder Weirn, out number 2. Dewin still cannot buy a hit. And the Norsemen need him to contribute if they want to be competitive. Anthony Poole was hit by a pitch in the first. He'll bat with 2 away. And, well, he is a pitch magnet today. Slams his bat down in either pain or frustration or both. Channeling his inner Brandon Geyer, which is a reference I'm sure nobody watching this will get. That brings up Riley Hassan with 2 away.
Up next, Riley Hassan.
Brandon Geyer, the MLB's all-time leader in hit by pitches per at-bat, which is something you have to have a very specific skill set and a lot of luck, either bad or good, depending on who you ask, to lead MLB in. On the ground at first, and Furman will step on the bag to retire the side. Neither team able to get much momentum. We still are a 0-0 game under the sun here in Old Orchard. Lucas Francis back out in the top of the fourth. Gus Lappin, Jack LeBlanc, Brady Graffam due up. LeBlanc, or Lappin rather, the only batter who has not had a turn yet. And after him, LeBlanc and Graffam, the only Nor'easters to reach base thus far. The sun is officially out, which is good news for the broadcast as the sky is no longer blindingly white. 1-0 delivered from Francis through 3. Has not allowed a hit. Has just one walk, a fielder's choice, and a strikeout. 2-0. Leadoff walks are rarely harbingers of dominant pitching performances, but thus far it has been the case for Lucas. Down the middle to Lappin. Junior at Husson out of South Portland High School. He hit .208 with 10 runs batted in this year. Went 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts on Thursday. That's hit a little bloop into shallow right, and second baseman Cody able to track it down.
Up next, Jack LeBlanc.
Jack LeBlanc now brings up the top of the Nor'easter lineup. He walked, got the second on a balk, and was stopped there. One. LeBlanc was one of just 2 players for the Nor'easters with multiple hits in the Thursday game. A big reason why they could not come through when it mattered. That's on the ground at first. Chimino will take it himself. They were able to get on base with walks and hit by pitches and isolated singles, but they could not string enough hits together to really bust it open. They left the bases loaded 3 times, once each to the starter Kopetsky, reliever Libby, who we saw earlier today, and the closer Gavin Balarjan. Ball 1 delivered to Graffam, who had reached on a fielder's choice. And was victim of a Dawson Gunlaw double play. A big cut on that one. Well, if you showed up right now and somebody told you that it was a torrential downpour a mere 30 minutes ago, I doubt they'd believe you. Beautiful weather now. Graffam looks at strike 2. 2-2, 2 out, none on for the Saco native. And he swings through that. Lucas Francis keeps on cooking. He has not allowed a base runner since the first inning. And we are halfway home here at the ballpark. And we're back, bottom of the fourth. For the heart of the Norsemen lineup, Chris Chimino, Nate Rogers, Kevin Connolly. Still waiting for a team to strike here. Unlike Thursday night, extra innings would not mean a midnight stay at the Sanford ballpark, so I welcome it. 1-0 from Colin McDonald. In the air to left. Tracking it down and making the catch on the edge of foul territory. Brady Graffam one away.
Up next,
Nate Rogers struck out swinging his first time up. He is 0 for 4 across 2 games today. Went 1 for 2 with a walk in the Norsemen's first game. Takes strike 1. That's low. In the air to right now. Gunlaw ranging, and he has it.
up next,
Kevin Connolly, one of the few Norsemen that can say they've reached today. He has walked. Got to second on a David Jurowitz single and was able to steal third, but it was for naught because David Jurowitz was thrown out trying to steal second, which ended that inning. 1-0 from the Gorham native, Colin McDonald. Left inside. So far in these playoffs, we've had a wild card game, which was right here. The Lightning took it over the Windjammers 7-2 and ended their season. On Thursday, after a rain out on Tuesday, we had a pair of games. The winners' quarterfinals, the Norsemen defeated the Patriots 4-2. And the Lightning defeated the Nor'easters 4-3 in one of the tightest games I've called all year. That's high, stopped by Merrill, 3-1. And today, the Norsemen and Lightning played in winners' finals with the Lightning a valiant 5-run top of the 7th to come back from a 2-run deficit and win 5-2. That is a hit by pitch. That's the third hit by pitch issued by McDonald. A odd specific blemish on an otherwise very solid pitching performance. Norsemen have not been able to capitalize on any of them yet, but we'll see if David Jurowitz can do something. He's the only Norseman with a hit today, or at least in this game. Plenty had hits earlier this afternoon. McDonald will pitch to him with 2 outs and a man on first. To the backstop. Gets through Merrill. Connolly to second base. Ben Seguin on deck, who has been hot today, even after a strikeout in the first at-bat of this one. Got jammed, grounded foul. Jurowitz, a sophomore at St. Joseph's. Spent his freshman year on the JV team, so no stats are available. He was teammates with Windjammers first baseman Jimmy Gignac on that team. Fouled off left, out of play. It's a physical education major, which I imagine There's a rather large Venn diagram overlap between that and being a baseball player. One of many GNCBL players that did not get much of an opportunity their last year in college are trying to show their coaches they have what it takes. 2-2, 2 out. Man on second for number 1-2. Number 2-0 pitching. And he wins the battle. Strike three. The Nor'easters strand another man. The Norsemen do. We are halfway home. Still no score. We head to the fifth. Dawson Gunline, Dramero, Michael Weirn, batters 3-4-5, due up against Lucas Francis. Who through 4 innings has allowed 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, a fielder's choice, and that is it. Nothing since the second batter of the game. Big cut from Gunlaw, who has grounded out in the midst of an 0-for-5. Has not got a hit in it yet in this postseason until now. Through the hole in left field, he has a first hit of the day for the Nor'easters. And it comes in the 5th inning. That breaks up Francis's no-hit bid.
Up next, Andrew Merrill.
For Andrew Merrill, who's flied out. Now with a man on and 1 out. No outs. Excuse me. The last man for the Nor'easters that batted with people on the base paths was actually Gunlaw, and he grounded into a double play. Hit in the air to right. Jurwitz giving chase, and he catches it in foul territory for out number 1. Merrill is 0-for-2 with 2 flyouts.
Up next, Michael Weirn.
Michael Weirn has grounded to short. Coming off a productive Thursday where he went 2-for-3 with a double. That gets past Connolly. So free second base for Gunlaw. Weirn with a man in scoring position. The Nor'easters can strike first. The first real scoring opportunity either team has had. The lion's share of base runners in this game have come with 2 outs. On the ground, back to Francis. And Weirn will get to first as Gunlaw is caught in a pickle. It's a valiant attempt, but in vain.
Up next, Luke Chessie.
Weirn aboard on a fielder's choice, and 2 down for Luke Chessie, who has struck out swinging. The senior at Bowdoin hit .270 with 14 runs batted in this year. Did not go around on that. Another quick game here. Pitchers have been excelling, as they so often do in the GNCBL. This has been a league all year dominated by pitchers. Believe only once all year has a team scored more than 10 runs, and that was, I believe, the Patriots in a mercy rule victory over these Nor'easters. 15-5, I believe that score was. May have also been the Windjammers. My memory is not perfect. 1-1 to Chessie. Will be postponed to a later date. And that date is now. No, it is not. The suspense killing everyone here. Luke Chessie, time is granted, and now he will swing at strike 2, throw down to first, just barely too late. Connolly had a good idea. Weirn was just able to dive back in time. Cut and a miss. Down goes Chessie. Swings at strike 3 for the second time today. And the Nor'easters leave another man on. Norsemen with Seguin, Cody, and Do up in the bottom of the 5th. Still no score here at the ballpark in Old Orchard Beach. Seguin has struck out today. Had a big game in the first half of this doubleheader, though it was in vain, with a pair of walks, a double, and a run. McDonald's still out there, and that's hit well out to center, but coming on Actually, the shortstop, LeBlanc, will take it. Quick one pitch out.
At bat, Jack Cody.
Jack Cody struck out looking. He is hitless today, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts and a walk across 2 games. Looks at ball 1. Filling in today for David York, who is absent. Actually, he is present. He's just on the bench. It's a different defensive look. Connolly and York do the catching duties. Split them between the two. 2-0 from McDonald into right, but foul. Right fielder Gunlaw retrieves it. Still no activity in either bullpen. We are in the 5th, but both starters are cruising. They have allowed just 2 hits between the two of them, 1 each. McDonald leaves that high, 3-1. In fact, these lines are almost identical. McDonald has allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, 4 Ks, and 3 hit by pitches. Francis with 1 hit, 1 walk, and 2 Ks. The hit by pitch number is a bit jarring, but otherwise he has been good. Does walk his second man, though, as Cody is aboard. For Kyle Doohan, mired in a slump after his big day on Thursday night. He has grounded out and flied out in this game. In game 1, he flied out, and grounded out again. At the very least, he's keeping his fly out to ground out ratio the same. The umpire now talking to McDonald. Not quite sure what that was, but it's resolved. Throw down to first. 1 out, 1 on for the Augusta native. Who hit .438 this season. Runner goes. Cut and a miss from Doohan, and that's going to be in time to throw out Cody. So his first trip to first base in this game is short-lived. 2 down. Fouled back. That is the first ball all season that has gone off the wall of the press box. I actually jumped in my seat a little there, even though it was well up and to the left of me. That's ball 1. Wonder how that looked on the stream. One and 2 from McDonald. Evens the count. Sun out once again. The storm has officially passed us by. On the ground, through the hole for a base hit. Doohan finally able to knock a hit. Second of the game off McDonald.
Up next, Anthony Poole.
And if Cody had been able to steal that base successfully, the Norsemen would have the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Instead, Anthony Poole will bat, and while he has had a productive day, technically, he probably wishes he hasn't. Both of his at-bats have been hit by pitches. Takes strike 1. A hit by pitch certainly would not be the worst outcome here, especially with Riley Hassan on deck. He is 0 for 2, but can always crush it if need be. Off the end of the bat, foul. Still, Poole probably wishes he could impact the game in another way, perhaps, without as much literal impact. 0-2. In the dirt, and it gets away from the catcher briefly, and he throws it into right field, but Gunlaw is there. He happened to be in the right place at the right time, and that prevented what might have been 2 bases from Kyle Doohan. The catcher, Merrill, bobbled it briefly, saw that Doohan was cheating off his base a bit, and got a little too excited, threw it about 3 feet over the head of Dylan Furman. All 5'10" of him could not jump that high, and luckily Dawson Gunlaw was covering. He was a backup man, so that didn't roll all the way into the bullpen. 1-2 with 2 away. Ken McDonald on the threat. Not with that pitch. Once again, Merrill has to dig it out of the dirt. 2-2. Both teams need a spark. Their pitching has been superb, but that does not win you games. On the ground to third base. Fielded and over to first in time to end that inning. To the 6th we go. All donuts so far. Which team will break through? Stay right here and find out. To the 6th inning we go. This is a 7-inning game, but by the looks of things, 7 innings may not be enough to decide it. But before we get there, Ryan Robertson will bat, along with Dylan Furman and Chris Balzano, against Lucas Francis, out for his 6th inning of work. Robertson has grounded out to the pitcher. He has allowed just 1 hit and 4 total base runners, 2 of whom were on fielders' choices. Line into left field, that's down for a base hit. Robertson got a great knock on that one. And a leadoff base runner for the Nor'easters.
Up next, Dylan Furman.
From the light-hitting Robertson, could that be the spark they have been looking for? Dylan Furman has a penchant for coming up with big extra base hits when it matters most. His double in the 4th inning on Thursday gave the Nor'easters a lead. And that is going to be into right field. 2 straight singles off of Francis, and the Nor'easters in business with no outs.
Up next, Chris Balzano.
Chris Balzano is flied out. He will bat with 2 on and none out. Lucas Francis has not allowed multiple base runners at the same time in an inning until now. And with no outs, this is a bona fide jam. It is the bottom of the order, though. Balzano hit just .224 this season. Did drive in 9 runs and hit a home run, though. At last, some drama. 1-0. Coming from the side armor. That's hit well into left, but arcing foul. To all 5 of you currently watching, I thank you for turning out. Tell all your friends. I want to have better turnout for the championship. That's bunted down the foul line, and it is going to roll foul. Lucas Francis pumping his fist at that one. That was a massive gamble, and it paid off. How can you not be romantic about baseball? 1-2 the count. The most entertaining strike we've had today. Even Balzano's laughing about it. It's unfortunate for him, though, as he cannot try that again. 1-2. Bunt would be the perfect option here, especially for someone not been hitting the best lately. That's left outside 2-2. Gus Lappin due up. Two. Out into left, but again fouled back out of play. The Nor'easters with a man out in their bullpen. I believe that's Andrew Pruill getting ready to warm up. Colin McDonald has thrown a lot of pitches. He's not allowed to run yet, but his day could be over. Into center field, dropping, and that's down for a base hit. That's going to load the bases with no outs. Lucas Francis on the ropes here.
Up next, Gus Lappin.
He allowed just 1 hit prior to this inning. He has allowed 3 into the first 3 batters, all toward the bottom of the order. And Gus Lappin with a chance to make a dent in this 0-0 scoreboard in a big way. With no outs, any ball that leaves the infield will score at least 1. He has popped out to second base today. Against the Nor'easters, he was the Lightning rather, he was 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Looks at ball 1. Robertson at third, Furman at second, Balzano at first. For the 5'10 junior at Husson. Hit well into left center field, and that will roll to the warning track. 1 run is in, 2 will come in. Stopping at third will be Balzano, and the Nor'easters finally crack this scoreless tie. They lead it 2-0 here in the 6th. That did not have home run distance, but that is a cavernous left center gap out there. Neither Seguin nor Poole could get there. Balzano down to third, and Lappin into second with a 2-run double. And for the first time all day, except for the time when the score was wrong, I get to change this thing. Nor'easters 2, Norsemen 0. Lucas Francis remains in the game. Still no outs. Runners at second and third. Balzano and Lappin, those 2. And now Jack LeBlanc will bat. He has walked and grounded out. This is the top of the Nor'easters order, getting their 3rd look at Francis. And he hits that well. Jirowitz under it. Poole coming in as well. And nearly colliding, tagging and scoring now is Chris Balzano to make it a 3-0 game. Lappin into third. The Norsemen do get their first out.
Up next, Brady Graffam.
Brady Graffam is 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice and a strikeout. And now the Norsemen do have action in their bullpen. I'll let you know who that is when I can make the number out. Lined into left center field. Another hit. The parade keeps going. 4-0 now. The Nor'easters have blown it open. And whatever has happened to Lucas Francis between the 5th and 6th innings, it is enough for manager Matt Rogers to perhaps pull the plug. Brady Graffam knocks a single. That's the 5th hit of the inning. And the 4th run. Mound conference ongoing. Rogers trying to buy his bullpen arm some time. And Francis will indeed stay in the game, as whoever that is not properly warm yet. Dawson Gunlaw will bat. He has singled and grounded out. And now Francis is going to take some practice throws. No, actually, this is a new pitcher. They took Cam Doohan out of the bench, and he will be the new reliever. So Francis is done after 5 1/3 innings. Now, he is wearing Cam Doohan's number, but I think that is Kyle Doohan because they took him from the field. I think Cam Doohan, wearing number 14, is warming up. So this is Kyle Doohan. That, of course, means defensive substitutions and a headache for yours truly, but we will get those as soon as we find them. Kyle Doohan, to my knowledge, has been used sparingly, if at all, as a reliever this year. Makes his money, his hypothetical money as a hitter. Perhaps just in mop-up duty now, with Dawson Gunlaw due up.
Norseman, Kyle Dewey.
The Norsemen with a man, or the Nor'easters, excuse me, having two teams with the prefix NOR playing against each other can twist the tongue. The Nor'easters have a man at first and nothing else. They had the bases loaded. All of them came around to score plus one more. Dawson Gunlaw trying to keep the hit train going against Doohan with his brother warming up. Cam Doohan, a freshman heading into his first year at Colby. We might see him after this inning. 4 runs in. This scoreless tie is history. And ball one low from Doohan to Gunlaw. Junior at St. Joseph's out of York High School. That throw to first eludes the first baseman Chimino. That was an errant offering from Doohan. Graffam thought about going for third, instead hangs up at second. Runner goes again outside, and Kevin Connolly doesn't even bother to throw. Graffam 90 feet away from making this a 5-1 or 5-0 game. All this still with just one out. 3-0 count. 2-1, excuse me. That finds the zone, 2-2. Doohan trying to end this inning with no more damage. But the Norsemen, all of the sudden, with 6 more outs to mount another comeback as Gunlaw goes down on strikes. Or their season is over.
Up next, Andrew Merrill.
And Andrew Merrill now to bat. What a heartbreaker that would be. They were 3 outs away from making it to the championship game on the winner's side, and now six outs away from their season ending. And in both cases, it was a situation of their pitcher simply running out of gas. Alex Smith was unhittable, almost literally, for 6 innings. And the bottom abruptly fell out in the 7th, and before they knew what had hit him, they had lost 2-0 to Connolly, and he is just able to stop it to prevent Graffam from stealing another 3-0 count from Doohan. Actually, the last one was 2-1. with Luke Chessie on deck. Should the inning get there. 3-0. It's a 4-pitch walk. Actually, this is Michael Weirn.
At bat, Michael Weirn.
Who is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a reached on fielder's choice. Runners on the corners with 2 down. 4 runs in for the Nor'easters. For the Nor'easters side of things, it does seem, based on all the action we have watched in the GNCBL this year, that Nor'easters Lightning was always going to be the fated matchup. In the championship, the Norsemen have done the best they can to play spoiler. Fouled into the dirt, and that will roll foul. Grounded into the dirt, I should say. But the Nor'easters and Lightning have played each other more than any pair of teams. Nor'easters won that season series 3-2 in the regular season, but the Lightning took a game on Thursday to put the Nor'easters here in the first place. Outside, 1-2. Andrew Pruill continuing to warm up in the Nor'easter pen. 2-2. So it would seem the rubber match is on the horizon with the Nor'easters getting their revenge. Strike 3 will end the inning. Doohan strikes out 2 and does not allow any of the runs that he inherited from Francis. But what was a pitcher's duel is now a 4-0 deficit for the Norsemen. The heart of the lineup is due up. Hassan, Chimino, and Rogers in the bottom of the 6th as they try to climb this mountain. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Colin McDonald back out for a 6th inning of work. And he has finally been gifted a 4-run lead. Riley Hassan will bat with Chris Chimino and Nate Rogers due behind him. Hassan is 0 for 2 with a flyout and a ground out. In the first game today, he was 2 for 3 with a single, a double, a ground out, and a fielder's choice. Hit into left. That will spiral back out of play. One from the Gorham native is inside. Gets stopped by Merrill. Not that it mattered. 2-1. And 3-1. He couldn't stop that one. These Norsemen have made comebacks before. This would be the stuff of legend if they could overcome this. That finds the strike zone, 3-2. They defied expectations on the last game of the season, coming back from the 4 seed to crash the Nor'easters and Lightning party in the top 2. They were 3 outs away from getting themselves into the championship, and now that's hit well. Out to left and just foul. Thought that was going to drop, and so did Hassan. Walks back with his head down. Plate appearance not over, of course. That was his pitch. Payoff coming from McDonald. And a left. Barely having to move was Brady Graffam, and that's out number 1. Hassan 0 for 3. It has been night and day from game 1 to game 2 for him. Chris Cimino has grounded out and flied out. This stretch of the Norseman lineup, Hassan, Cimino, and Rogers, the 3 due up in this inning, are a combined 0 for 6, now 0 for 7. In fact, Cimino drew a walk in the first at-bat of the first game, and he is 0 for 4 since. Big cut on a curveball inside. Cimino went 1 for 3 with an RBI against the Patriots on Thursday. Senior at Bates. Looped foul. This season he hit .348 with 9 runs batted in. Drew 23 walks, which led the league. Scarborough native, Cheverus graduate. 1-2. Again, looped back. That one went over the press box. I know, because I would have heard it if it hadn't. One, two. Another one fought off. Manager Max Selewski making a great play on the fan, throwing the ball back into the field of play. 1-2. Rope down the line, past the diving first baseman. That's a base hit. Cimino ends his 0 for 4. Just the 3rd hit allowed all day by McDonald.
Up next, Nate Rogers.
Second in the last 4 batters. Nate Rogers has struck out and flied out. The Norsemen now in search of their own spark. Nor'easters got one last inning with that leadoff single by the light-hitting Ryan Robertson. A 1 from McDonald. Check swing for ball 1 is likely the last we will see of him. Aaron Kiss also up in the Nor'easter pen. He has thrown a lot of pitches, and those pitches have done what he wanted them to do. That's into right field. Closing in Gunlaw. Catches it for out number 2. Rogers is 0 for 3. Kevin Connolly, though, 0 for 0. He has been walked and hit by a pitch.
Up next, Kevin Connolly.
Both of those outcomes would be ideal. David Jurowitz up after him, who also has a single today. Norsemen don't want to be down to their last 3 outs. Connolly taking inside. This team has, as I was saying before, they have overcome expectations all season long. They were last in the GNCBL for about half the season. That's hit well out to right, but right into the glove of Dawson Gunlaw for out number 3. It will be their final 3 outs for the Norsemen. But first, at the top of the 7th, the road Nor'easters will bat. Jesse Robertson and Furman coming up right after this. Well, one Doohan is out and another is in on the mound, that is. Kyle Doohan done after 2/3 of an inning, allowing a walk, striking out 2, getting the Norsemen out of a inning in which they had allowed 4 runs off the pitches of Lucas Francis. And now his younger brother, Cam, lefty out of Coney High School, starts Luke Chessie off with a strike. Cam, a rising freshman at Colby. In the regular season, through 13 1/3 innings with a 7.86 ERA and 18 strikeouts. So, mixed bag. His job is to allow no more runs and keep the Norsemen deficit vaguely manageable. 1-1 to Chessie. Chop foul. No, that's going to be fair. Doohan throwing over. And that is a wonderful stretch by Chris Cimino at first. Acrobatic first out.
At bat, Ryan.
Got to figure Chessie might not have been running his hardest because he thought it might roll foul. I certainly did. Ryan Robertson has grounded to the pitcher and singled. His single to lead off the 6th inning was the start of a party for the Nor'easters. The next, or 4 of the next 5 batters after him would all make it. And 3 of those 4, including Robertson, would score. In to right. Jerwitz back, and he makes a catch on the run. So the last batter to bat for the Nor'easters, hopefully for them, will be Dylan Furman. Unless he gets a hit, of course. The next one due up anyway. He has flied out and singled. The first baseman today. That pitch gets away from Connolly. Furman, his freshman year with the USM Huskies, hit .417. Dances out of the way of the ball, too. This year, he hit .314, batted in 8 runs. Former all-state level soccer player at Exeter High School in New Hampshire. roped down the third base line, stopped on a dive by Dewan across his body, throws on and gets the out. What a play by Kyle Dewan to Chris Cimino for the second out. Incredible athleticism there. And that is out number 3. So that will be it for the Nor'easters, barring a miraculous Norseman comeback. They have Jurwitz, Seguin, and Cody, batters 7, 8, and 9 due up in the bottom of the 7th. Stick right here to see whose season will end. Well, Colin McDonald will come out to try and finish this complete game shutout. Now, unfortunately, the last time I said those words, they were for a Norseman pitcher, and that pitcher promptly gave up 5 runs. But we will see if the curse will continue. McDonald will face off against David Jurwitz, who swings at his first offering, and that's into left center field, down for a base hit. Jurwitz going for a double, and that would have been ill-advised had that throw been better. As it stands, though, a leadoff double for Jurwitz. The Norseman bench fired up. That's his second hit of the game. He's had a good outing today. Ben Seguin has struck out and popped out. Had a good first half of the day with a walk, a double, and another walk against the Lightning. McDonald with a leadoff man in scoring position. Certainly not how you want to start off your save attempt. Seguin, the Scarborough High School graduate, 5'7" left fielder. Hit well into center. Weirn under it for out number 1. Should be code at this point. Whenever I say something is hit well, it's actually a routine fly out. This is a pinch hitter, Davis Kibler, into the game, hitting for Jack Cody, who was 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Excuse me. This year, Davis Kibler, certainly not experienced in the art of pinch hitting or hitting in general. He hit 059 this year. Did hit a run, though. Batted in a run, rather. Making his playoff debut with 1 away in the bottom of the 7th. A man on second. Needing only to advance him, but to get on base would be nice. 0-1. Fouled straight back. Kibler, rising freshman at Southern Maine Community College out of Coney High School, same year as the man who is due up to bat right after him, Kyle Dewan. Same place of origin, rather. Same year as Cam Dewan. Roped foul past the half-hearted stop attempt of head coach Matt Rogers. Under a beautiful sky and the sun in Old Orchard Beach today, one team will be going home. Well, both of them will be. One team for the season. 0-2 from McDonald. That's off. Got jammed into right field. That is not going to drop. Michael Weirn covered a lot of ground there. And if that had had a little bit less on it off the bat of Kibler, that might have been a bloop single, but
At bat, Kyle.
the Norsemen down to their last out. Kyle Doohan has grounded out, flied out, and singled. Their season hangs in the balance. Colin McDonald trying to pitch his team into the championship. Mile high pop up, and that's just a few rows shy of the press box. Depth perception can get you sometimes. I thought that was on the infield at first. Anthony Poole hoping the inning gets to him, and hoping he will not be hit by a pitch for the third time if it does. Also hoping he's not going to ground out as well. Hoping a lot of things, along with everyone in the Norsemen dugout. And this guy about to get a 0-1 pitch from McDonald. Roped past the diving glove of the first baseman, but into the glove of the second baseman, and he's safe. He outran it. The Nor'easters were already celebrating, but the Norsemen will live to bat at one more. Man, that was an exceptional play by the second baseman, Chessie, a diving stop, but he could not flip on in time to get Kyle Doohan, so he is on with his second single. Jurowitz down to third, and it will be Anthony Poole as the mound conference ongoing. Coach Max Zalewski Jr. seeking clarification from the umpire. Nor'easters were not happy with that call. Could that be the spark the Norsemen need with the backs against the wall? Now the pitcher McDonald getting his licks in as the umpires conference. And they actually did have the ability to reverse that call. That would have been an anticlimactic end, but chose not to. Safe is the call.
At bat, Anthony Poole.
Certainly was far too close for me up in the press box to tell. Anthony Poole has been hit by a pitch twice and grounded out. Trying to get the inning to Hassan, who is 0 for 3 today, but always liable to rip a big one. Oh, 1 from McDonald. Hoping he doesn't have to leave this game. Fouled off to right. 0-2. Down to their last strike. This season of defied expectations, comebacks, and even miracles comes down to this. 0-2. Hit well out to center field. Ranging is Wern. And he's got it. And that does it. The Nor'easters are moving on. And could it really have ended any other way? Lightning versus Nor'easters. That will be the championship match. The Norsemen season comes to a bitter end. They fought all the way through, but in the end it was not enough. They fall 4-0 to these Nor'easters. And these players will now return to their respective schools and hope the GNCBL brings them some experience and success. For the Nor'easters, though, this story is far from over. On Tuesday night on this YouTube channel and this stream, tune back in for the GNCBL championship game called by who else but yours truly between the Lightning and the Nor'easters. Lightning needing just one win, Nor'easters needing a pair. That season series has gone either way, so I got a funny feeling it might go the distance, and you won't want to miss a single second of it. The league's two best teams all season long, regardless of record, will be meeting under the Old Orchard Beach lights to decide if the Lightning will repeat or the Nor'easters will get a title and end that streak. Until then, though, I've been Charlie Fellows, and take care.